Hello, Way the Bastard. Thanks for responding. I appreciate it. Um, I'll try to respond in kind, that is quickly. Um, okay, so number one, oh yeah, what you can call me Gabe if you want. That's my name. I don't really care. I hate my YouTube name, but I made this shit in high school, and I've already started making videos under this name, and I don't think I can go back and change it or use a different name or something. So I'm not going to do that. Number two, utilitarianism sucks, and I want to make a video about how much I hate utilitarianism sometime. But I'm glad you agree with me that that isn't good enough for objective morality either. Um, okay, so on to your actual problems. The first thing you say is that uh, my preferred solution to the Euthyphro dilemma, i.e., God's commands are moral because God commands them. Um, the first problem that you have with this is that it doesn't bridge the is-ought chasm, and it doesn't, and because it fails to do that, it doesn't give us objective morality. You say what it does is describe what God's moral preferences are, and therefore it can never be prescriptive. But I think, and I hate. It's really depressing that I have to side with Mig Killer on something, on anything really, but on this maybe especially. But I think that there may be a way to make an argument for that because it's God giving the commands, it is objective. And I think one way that we could do that, I mean, it depends on what we're doing when we're talking about objectivity, right? So it depends on what you're looking for when you're looking for objective morality. I'm not exactly sure what it is a lot of the time when I listen to people have these kind of discussions and they say, "Oh, well, that's not objective. That's not objective. That's not objective." It seems like I'm not. Maybe I'm just dense and I'm not getting it. But a lot of times I feel like the concept of objectivity that people have is not very clear, maybe even to themselves. I'm not saying that's the case with you, but that's the case with me, at least, when I'm listening to a lot of to people have these kind of discussions. I guess if we're looking for unchanging, perfect, eternal, moral laws, right? Laws in that sense. Okay, I get it, and I agree that my solution to the Euthyphro dilemma does not fulfill that criterion. But what I will say is, if we're taking seriously the idea of the creator God creates everything in the universe, all informational, all data in the universe, for me, I would want to include things like concepts. I would want to include things like ideas. So that would also include the standards of objectivity. You see what I'm saying? So in creating the universe and everything, yada yada yada, God would set the standards of objectivity. Because if you say that he can't do that, then you're already presupposing against, you're presupposing the opposite answer in the Euthyphro dilemma already, and we're talking past each other. If you take my meaning. So that's one way I could see. Obviously, it's not fleshed out here. I could do more with it. If you're interested, let me know. Although I won't guarantee that I could do more with it, but that's just an idea. As far as making it prescriptive rather than just descriptive. And then the next problem that you have is you say, oh shit, what was it? Okay, well maybe it'll come to me. I'll go to the next one. The other problem that you have is that it goes against people's moral intuitions about what's right and wrong. And I'll give you this. That's totally true. If saying that God could have commanded that that rape and genocide would be moral, that totally goes against our moral intuitions. But my point was that this is explainable under in a theistic framework, in the sense that, of course, it goes against our intuitions because the intuitions that we have were given to us by God. The moral intuitions that we have were given to us by God, and they were given to us by God in such a way that they would match up with what His commands about morality are, right? So our intuitions are going to be with what God's commands about morality are. In this world, right? That's love thy neighbor, yada yada yada. Don't murder, don't steal, all that stuff. So our intuitions are in that ballpark, but that's explainable because God put those intuitions in us, right? And He put them in us in such a way that they would match up all nice with what His commands are. And my point was that if He had commanded differently, to us, we would have different moral intuitions because He would place different moral intuitions in us in that alternate world, right? So it would feel exactly the same. We would feel the same towards rape in that world as we do towards whatever, hugging and getting married and being chaste in this world. And I know that is sort of outlandish, but that's the point. The point is that it's outlandish because the moral intuitions that we have were placed in us by God on this view. So it totally makes sense that that's an outlandish thing to say. So saying it goes against our moral intuitions, I think is not a problem. And I think that's totally surmountable. I'm not sure. I feel like there was another one in there that you had, another problem that you had. You say it's relativistic. I think that's kind of covered under my first one, in that if God sets the standards for objectivity in the first place, saying it's relativistic may not work. But even if it is relativistic, the claim would be that it doesn't matter because if God changes His mind, just because He does, the objective morality switches, right? So, and I think on that view anyway. So I think we might need to sort of hash out between the two of us what we're talking about when we're talking about objectivity and stuff like that. But that's just sort of some preliminary response to this. I really do think that the moral intuitions thing is not a problem at all, and I think the objectivity thing, like I said, we should try to hash it out. But I think that there may be a light at the end of the tunnel. Although, like I said, God damn it, if I have to agree with Mig Killer.